Namaste. Hello, and welcome to Soul Fusion Cafe. I am Jess Juntanen, your grateful and happy host to be here. Cheers. I have got to grab my beverage and just welcome you all into all humanity. It's incredible to be here, or whether you're recording, because it is true. Together we're better, and Soul Fusion Cafe is that place to connect with your abundance, yourself, your wellness. Your hour offers you the blessing of reconnecting with yourself, remembering why we are here, remembering the truth of your being. So it's been a fascinating morning of technology. How's technology been for you? We're getting on the air here, and you are going to be hearing the amazing sounds of a lot of construction happening. I was getting ready to broadcast here, and they are now working on the Pyramid of Peace outside my door. I'm here in Ecuador, and it's incredible because this pyramid is going up, and it is going up fast. And also at the same time, I believe they are doing some work on the outside of my house. So patience and blessings if you are hearing some of this background construction is happening all around me right as I am going live with you. So yeah, it is absolutely a fun. All of us, our internet connection is going in and out. So we are just going to be here and hold presence in this moment, at this time, in this moment. What I'm noticing is I connect in with the wisdoms and teachings of Sri Ram Ka, Master Lady Kira Ra, and all of the beautiful information that comes for them. July, we know, is this profound, huge month, and where humanity really is deciding how we are going to continue on this planet of form. It's big. It is many are feeling so much. There's so much that is happening in the world right now. There's so much that are receiving, and there's so much that we're all working through at the same time. It's a very kind of take your breath away moment. And if you're navigating a lot of things that are difficult or tricky or triggering, please know that is a gift to know you're not alone. We're all doing something that we have never done. We are all traversing this new paradigm that we've never lived in before, a whole new energy. So have mercy on yourself, and your body may be speaking to you in so many ways, and you may be feeling a lot of triggers and a lot of your ego coming up to stop you, because this is that moment of, are we going to do this or are we not? Both on our individual level and the path of where humanity is going next. And again, if you're just starting to tune in now, I apologize, because as I started my live stream, they started working on the roof of my house, and the pyramid is being constructed outside. I am at Tosa Blue Mountain, Ecuador right now, and there's so much activity happening, and that is very exciting. I think that creation happening all around me while I'm here broadcasting with you. And really clear to me over the past several days, in talking with Lady Kira Ra too, is this energy of the spiral. Yesterday, Freddie, the artist that does all this beautiful artwork here at Tosa Mountain, he showed up, and he was so excited to see us, and he was sharing some about his revelations from the ceremony that took place last Saturday. And he saw the spiral of Tosa Blue Mountain, and this energy of the spirals coming forward, and And I know we were, tentatively going to magic last night, but Monday Magic was so very full. It was incredible. And if you were not at Monday Magic, that recording will be going out later today. You can still sign up and get that recording if you would like to. Go to shriandkira.com, and on the events tab, under the Discover tab, or scroll down the homepage a bit, you will see the events, and you will see Monday Magic there, So it really, you can go and just get that for as little as $1 and receive the blend with all of the incredible happened. And we did a sort of time surf jump last night that I'm still saying, a lot happens at these sessions. And, we just had such a full session and so much incredibleness come forward that we didn't have the opportunity to share this. And I have done a show actually a couple years ago, I believe now, with how time travels, on this exact multidimensional presence. And I will put this in the chat for you, because you can read this yourself, and that you print this out, grab this for yourself, and because it's very powerful. So in this ensoulment, that it was the divine directors through Master Lady Kira Ra that delivered this back in March 2020. It really if you have been tracking with Sri, heard of them, and you're just popping in familiar, I do really recommend check was delivered. That we receive the information we have received every week, and then track with us and mapping, and it really more always with us. So tracking, and over the last few years, or if you're on August 8th, so much of what we're doing right now, everything of what we're doing right now, truly ignited in that moment. There was this amazing appearance, and I believe the comet's coming back through soon, and it was the ignition of Women Wellness Awakenings. It was the ignition of this journey that I very much have been on, to continue to up level and support the community of Self-Ascension and come forward in so many ways. And truly, like, in that moment, we all ignited on the planet on 8/8/2020, such a profound coming back in such a profound way, and the balance and restoration of when that happened, it was very much a kind of like a catapult. It just pushed us through till now. If you really were to put together since August 8th, 2020 through now, you will really find, I'm sure, that a lot has transpired. And also, it feels like the blink of an eye. But if you really track with what you've been doing since then and noticing, you will be delighted, I am sure, with how much has come forward. So this ensoulment came forward just a few months, that ignition context, that back in March 2020 equinox, we were preparing in many ways for this ignition of the divine feminine. And this steps for navigating this is like such, and while it came out 2 years ago, it feels more relevant today to me in many ways than it was even then. Uh, and it's a very powerful way to support yourself if you feel yourself spiraling or you feel that ego kicking up. Because, like, since that August date, I mean, we have been just getting hit with so much energy, so much up level, so fast, boom, boom, boom. And then this year, 2022, every full moon is like that gong. It's like boom, 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 every full moon. We're awakening further. We're opening further. We are experiencing more, and we are going through a up level every month. So have mercy on yourself, and may this practice actually truly support you in some beautiful ways. And I put the link over in the chat. So if you're at YouTube or Facebook, hello, you can grab it out of the chat and go read this article for yourself. Like I said, I highly recommend printing it and downloading it. And the message that comes through here, welcome to all who are ready to claim for the ones who essence. This essence is yours to restore within as you remember the energy of that which you are and that which you are one, right? This is such a dance right now. This ensoulment is just as relevant, if not more now. It came through the divine directors. It was not long after the divine directors had made their appearance. It's speaking through Master Lady Kira Ra in September 2019, right? And the spirals of the multidimensional are now literally mirroring the upliftment. The fifth dimension to the realms of a presence has called for the brilliant ignition of divine illumination. Dimension of, and it's still where we won in 2022 is we're anchoring the seventh. We're learning to really aim the seventh dimension, and that dimension witnesses with compassion. I don't know if I can quickly find this graphic for all of you, and I really hope my connection is okay, because it seems like my connection might be coming in and out. Technology is being very, very fascinating these days. So, you know, the witnessing the witnesser. I'm going to see if I can find this quickly and pull it up, because that fifth dimensional compassion, that's something that we were really anchoring back in 2020, and you can still anchor now if you're just like becoming aware now of what this is or anything. You know, you're not too late. This can definitely be alive for you in this moment, and you can anchor this now. And so this graphic comes from let's see, share screen. This comes from Shri and Kira. This is the witnessing the witnesser, and you'll see this incredible graphic of dimension there on the bottom that's holding the third. And if you want to learn more about any of this, go to shriandkira.com and tune into their shows. Please. The fifth is the witnesser of the third, you'll see. And those wings are open so big with the compassion. This compassion for the third dimensional self is what lifts us into the fifth. A lot of beings are talking about the fifth dimension right now. It's a hot topic in the world of conversation, of consciousness, and elevated spiritual life and living. It's a familiar concept in those circles now. However, it's not the final goal, I guess, so to speak. It's very much the waiting room. The fifth dimension is the waiting room. This is the place that all beings come to get ready for those next dimensions. And the fifth dimension right now, since this was written in 2020 even, has been eroding. It has been dissolving the edges of it. The edge that's between the like the buffer between the third and the fifth, that's been eroding. Like the fifth dimension, so many beings, it's so much more accessible and so many beings can get there. But it's also got this energy of compassion holding the third. It's so close to the third dimension where our body of form lives and our thoughts and our emotions and all of that lives there. That this fifth dimension holding the third, it's almost like it's gotten tired, and a level of judgment can still exist inside the fifth dimension. There's still that capacity to be in judgment of ourselves and others, and that in a way is part of this erosion between the third and the fifth, and it is making the fifth wobbly and a little destabilizing. So when we realize this is the waiting room and it's the moment now to really lift into our seventh, we're going to go through the practice that this article outlines that can really help us even anchor in that seventh. And the seventh, you'll see in this graphic, is witnessing the witnesser of the third. So when you imagine, like if you go into meditation and you just bring a hand to your heart and you lift, and you can do this in an instant, it doesn't have to be a long meditation, but you lift to that fifth dimension and gaze at the third dimensional being and body of form. And you hold that compassion and love, and then you lift again, and you're in that seventh that is witnessing the witnesser. That's the fifth. There's no judgment in the seventh. This is where like no judgment can live. The fifth is kind of like been wobbly and judgments can still be there. And the seventh, they just don't live there. You're just simply in this crystalline energy of witnessing. And the ninth is ever more available than ever. This is the witness that's witnessing the witnesser, right? And we can access it more readily now. It's a very exciting moment, but what will keep you from doing this? The ego, that third, will pull you down. And the planetary thought body, where everybody's thoughts, emotions, all of it gets dumped into, is so robust right now. It's so full. It's almost impossible to not be impacted by it because you have a body of form. It's virtually impossible to not be affected. That's why it's so important that we have practices. What works for you? What supports you to break free? And be honest with yourself. Notice where you may be judging even subtly. The path of self-ascension, one of the key steps is releasing judgment. And this one is harder than we think because we can think we're not judging while we are absolutely judging. We can have an idea or expectation about how things should look, how things should be. When we think should, that's a judgment, right? So it's very sticky. And to really have unconditional love for every aspect of ourselves is the only way to lift. Another key step of the path of self-ascension. So really breathe and have that mercy on yourself, because it's not always easy here. It's not always easy at all. And this beautiful exercise in this spiral and lift, it's this, even right here in the article, they say this illumination that has fully anchored as support for all the fifth dimensional experience. There's this compassion, this divine illumination that's anchored there. It's similar to a two-way mirror that reflects back with illumination what is being projected into the mirror itself. It's an amplifier. Thereby, if the energetic radiation reaching up from the fourth dimensional experience, this is like where the fourth dimension between the third and the fifth, really, that's where all that planetary thought body is. The judgments are. So the energy that carries the judgments, the fear and doubt are revealed with greater clarity. You can see it more easily when you lift into the fifth. But not all who receive this are ready to see either. And that's where like Lost Books of the Essene comes in, and we say, it's like really it's that moment of offer those that are asleep that glass of water with love. They want to hide. Uh, and this beautiful reflection that with fifth energy happening here, and the radiation reflecting and blocking people's actual ascension. It's what is actually lifting. It's a very interesting moment. So if we can lift above into that fifth dimension or the seventh, we can lift the energy and anchor a stability and mirror the upliftment of the multidimensional experience as the light and connection and upliftment and awareness. So there's a choice. There's a choice that happens where we instantly create from. Awareness, experience, and choice are the illumination. They are what brings us through every moment. It's the ever refining cycle of awareness, experience, choice. Right now, we're in an experience month. Each month goes through its cycle of awareness, experience, choice. The year, the days, the weeks, right? So we are in this energy of experience in July. We're experiencing what the awareness of June birthed. And through this comes the choice of August. It's a moment of ignition. It's the moment of coming forward. It's the moment of a guiding light that can get us through the illusion. That's the third dimension. That's all this interference energy that's playing out. There's so much illusion. And if we can be completely in that awareness, experience, choice, always, whenever an experience comes forward, what are you aware of? What's the experience? What's the choice being offered? If you can remain in that, and I'm so grateful to be sharing this today. I need to receive the blessing of reconnecting with what's being shared from the divine directors myself. I mean, it's no accident. Like, we all are needing to receive this blessing right now. And it's really not about any judgment or anything else. This, like, it's always a new moment to start again, and to receive these messages right now is such a powerful gift. And we're always co-creating. It's just, what level are we co-creating from? There's always this greater awareness that unfolds through the ever refining cycles of the journey of this eternal spiral. There is this invitation to release the judgment of what we expect, right? I was talking about that earlier. Expectancy is a judgment, and it calls forward that further illumination, and the upward spiral begins that entry back into the fifth dimension. And if we are choosing to align with the energies of co-creation through, like, the linear timeline experience, this will take us laterally or take us in a downward spiral. What's an dimension is reflecting upon itself and densifying through the astral experience of that fourth dimension. It just very much keeps us in a trap, and it's like you go into, like they say here, an energy of forgetfulness happens, and we go into an isolation from our true nature of our actual true self, and we go into the ego self, right? And we just end up blending into the illusion ever more strongly. And so many are choosing this linear experience and cycling down. So just recognizing, like, if you are able to lift up and out of this and practice this, and even if you don't feel like you do it all the time, it's just such a gift. Every time you do lift out, you anchor higher with the practice and the remembrance. Every time you connect to your multidimensional presence, you can lift out of that downward spiral, taking you deeper into density. And in a mastery moment, you're calling forward, in so many ways. It's going to assist the mind of this body of form to appreciate everything. The spiral is always moving. We're all within this spiral. And it's the way we navigate the spiral with our full consciousness or without it. It's the journey of each that they get to choose. And if those are choosing to be in a particular timeline right now of this co-creative illusion, there is a moment of illumination for everybody. And there's a moment where, in any moment, that we can, in that spiral, and lift and dissolve all of that illusion and step out of the linear experience and anchor back in our multidimensional presence. And it takes real commitment. It takes that steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust. And, to navigate this presence, you have to fully appreciate all of the experiences, everything. Release all the judgment of yourself. Have that fifth dimensional compassionate wisdom from your eternal self for you. The blessing that's before us all exists right here, and the mind is being bombarded by fear. It is being bombarded by fear. That is the overarching energy right now of every being on this planet, is fear, fear, fear. It's being fed constantly. It's being nurtured constantly. You're being invited to stay in fear constantly. Have compassion and mercy on yourself and smile every time you see it, because for when you see it and you're aware, you lift. So this is that moment where we can really become aware. And this incredible blessing that I put in the chat of the 6 steps for presence is so beautiful. And this, we'll walk through this and unpack some of this right here. And again, I invite you to grab that link and grab the PDF and print it, and really be with this. There's these 6 steps. They are done in order, and they will help you to anchor your multidimensional presence so you can get ever greater support and clarity for this moment at hand. So, step number 1, first, notice what is really standing out to you. What has the focus of your step 1? What are you aware of right now? What's the focus? And in what is trying to control it, don't try to grab it, and don't look at what's being the loudest right now. What is it to go beyond the headline? Don't pay attention to exactly the headline loudest thing in your consciousness. What's there? What's inviting greater awareness. And this awareness is taking you. Go deeper into the extension of why my conscious. So if has your attention is perhaps, it's like maybe the body is like, I'm hurting, or I'm in pain, or anxiety is holding out. Focus on not what's trying to control, not the anxiety, not what's like the loudest, being the loudest. What's really making you take a pause? What's really underneath, what's inviting your awareness. So if what's loudest is the anxiety or a body coming forward, what's actually what you've been, right? Where this awareness is go deeper. What perhaps I'm noticing in the pause that I've been not paying attention to my needs. Maybe that's what I'm aware of, right? Or I'm being triggered and I'm feeling a victim conscious forward. I'm feeling less. My consciousness want me to see that of the opening to your multidimensional presence. That's the moment you start ascending in your consciousness. You just becoming aware of what's there is what, and that's kind of a relief. Personally, that's kind of a relief. That is like, wow, like you get the opportunity to lift just by becoming, you get that opportunity to lift. I mean, like, how amazing is that gift? Step 3, notice the story. Hearing, what are you being shown? What's the spin that's on this, what you're aware of, of not good enough for, right, I never can do enough, or maybe you're being shown this has happened. So if you dive into the story, allow it to fully take you deep, be fully present to your awareness. So there's something inside that story to really unpack. You may be aware, like, yes, I feel anxiety. Yes, I'm good enough. This is just examples, where we could be going. But what is really, yourself, just go into that and stay there, but dive in. What's the story? What's behind that energy? What's behind that energy? Oh, maybe I'm just really worried I'm going to fuck this, right? This is the moment of the master arrive for you as you go deep into that story. The energy of the witness is silently waiting for you to activate it, and it brings you to the next step. Is step 4. As you engage the story, consciously notice if you can the thread of this created from this. Can you spiral or make balcony? I apologize. As it reveals that which is down spiral experience. What, like, can you stop mention now? Can you really feel that sense of compassion and just watch what it is that's taking you in that downward spiral? This is the awareness that invites you of the illusion. This is the moment where the smile can come to our face. There's always some kind of co-created reality inside of every delusion, because the delusion is an aspect of the creation that's inside of all. The active presence of witnessing of the energy of the downward spiral without being in its tractor beam. Like, the beam of the downward spiral is strong. That's when you're in that downward spiral. It's the awareness starts that coming up. So see if you can stop the spiral consciously and see as you witness the energy of the downward spiral where it was taking. This is that connection. It starts to open and expand your consciousness again. It's the self-discovery. It is a moment of great aware cognition that you've always seen energy. This is that moment where we lift above the 5th into that 7th, like we were showing earlier in the show. This brings you into the wider perspective of the story to get your attention. This step invites your brain to rest and your ascended presence to lead. The moment at hand that as you practice this, you are already ascending. You're already ascending. Isn't that like the biggest gift ever? And in many ways, a huge relief? a big relief, right? And as you complete this step, notice when you engage the world of density once more, expanding out to your consciousness, what's trying to control it, and then bring your ascended presence to your consciousness and pay attention to what is your experience, right? The awareness, now the experience. This is the journey of awakening. Forgetfulness happens at such a deep level. People forget what they've forgotten. We forget what we forgot. This is the mirror of the multidimensional ascended presence to illuminate a moment of conscious choice. So what's the experience? And now the choice to determine what you see. This is a process. You can easily guide yourself through the moment, easily bring yourself back into ascended consciousness. And the gift of clearly being able to know onto the spiral energy of creation, to see it so clear without judgment, that which is pulling you downward, and to instantaneously become the mirror of divine revelation that lifts you into love and passion. As you complete the 5 steps, then, as with all cycles, notice what you're noticing. Carefully invite yourself to fully notice without reservation and begin the cycle again. Notice again. It's an ever refining cycle. So you complete these 5 steps of the awareness, of the stopping point, of the lift, experience. Notice what you're noticing and invite yourself to notice without any reservation. You're this eternal being with the gift of creation. This is the gift of your awareness, bringing you into the moment of experience and conscious choice. May this clarity assist you to navigate the spiral with greater consciousness as you lift ever more fully into the mastery of your true nature. So truly, I pray, grab this article from the chat, that you really give yourself the opportunity to connect with these 6 steps, because whenever you feel you're less than, whenever you feel yourself spiraling, there's a big trigger point, like you're being caught in a story, just the awareness initiates the lift. You can go into what's behind the story, what's in the story of what you're creating, and lift back into multidimensional presence. And every time we do this with your mastery, we come forward ever fully. So it has been such an honor and pleasure. I hope that this has supported your upliftment in some way. I truly invite you to be with this, as I my own self to be with this. I take this as a personal challenge this week to really being created. And when the spiral in its grip and what you're feeling, you can email me, Jess at selfascensionstudios.com. You can go over to my page and drop a comment with this video. Drop your comment here in the video now. And what are you aware of, and how is this process supporting you with your upliftment? Awareness, experience, choice. It's always there. It's always before us. And time to be that witnessing, the witnesser. We can anchor in the 7th. We can do it more joyfully than ever and process that lift, and it will be ever more easy. To noon Eastern time at Talk Radio.
You've been listening to Soul Fusion Cafe with Jess Juntanen. Connect with Jess and learn more at her inspiration hub, selfascensionstudios.com, and over on Instagram at JoyLoveJess and Soul Fusion Cafe Radio, or over at Facebook at Self-Ascension Studios and Soul Fusion Cafe Radio. Thank you for listening. See you next week. Namaste and many blessings.